It was a little after 3 in the morning when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. I was half asleep, tucked under 2 layers of blankets, the kind of tired where you forget where you are for a second when you wake up. I blinked into the dark. For a few seconds, I just stared at the glowing screen like it was a mistake. Motion detected at your front door, 3:07 a.m. I live alone. That's important. No roommates. No siblings. No late-night pizza deliveries. Just me, a quiet suburban street, and a Ring camera mounted just above my front porch. What happened next was rather unexpected. I will tell you everything, but first, if you enjoy stories like this, you want to be part of the 10% viewers who click on the like button. It makes us really happy. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, kindly support us today by subscribing to this channel. This helps us to bring you more beautiful stories. It will be great to tell us where you are watching us from in the comment section. I didn't feel scared right away, just irritated. It wasn't the first time a raccoon or the neighbor's drunk kid had wandered too close to the house. I sighed, rolled onto my side, and tapped the notification. The video loaded, a bit of static at first, then the porch came into view. But it wasn't a raccoon. It was a man. Standing perfectly still in front of my door. My thumb froze over the screen. The porch light cast just enough glow to make out his face. And the hoodie he was wearing. And the sneakers. And the scar on his left eyebrow. It was me. Standing outside my own house. At 3:07 in the morning. Looking directly into the camera. I sat up in bed too fast. My brain scrambled to explain it. Maybe the video was old? Maybe someone was messing with me? But the timestamp was clear. Live footage. And I was still in bed. Breathing. Blinking. Watching. On the screen, the other me raised a hand. Knocked once. Then twice. Then a third time, slow, deliberate. I muted the video and strained to listen. The house was silent. My front door was just down the stairs. I should have heard the knock, but I didn't. I scrubbed through the video, 10 seconds, 20, 30. He never moved again. Then, around the 38-second mark, the screen glitched. Just a hiccup. Barely a blink. The porch was suddenly empty. I leaned closer. He was just there. And now he wasn't. There was no sound of the door opening. No other motion alerts. Nothing. Just silence. I tapped back to the app's home screen. There was another notification I hadn't seen. Motion detected, hallway interior camera, 3:09 a.m. I stared at it, heart pounding now. I hadn't moved. I hadn't gone downstairs. My door was still locked. I knew it was locked. But someone was in the hallway. I tapped the new clip. And the video loaded. And there he was again. Me. Already inside the house. I've replayed that hallway clip over a dozen times now, and I still can't tell when exactly he appears. There's no door opening. No footsteps. No shadow stretching out from under the frame. Just a slight flicker in the motion camera's feed, like the moment between blinking and waking up. Then suddenly, he's there. Standing perfectly still in the middle of the hallway. Facing the stairs. Facing upstairs. Facing me. I paused the video and scanned the timecode. 3:09 a.m. I checked my phone's clock. It was 3:12. 3 minutes ago, someone, or something, that looked exactly like me had walked into my home. Without a sound. Without a trace. I stared at the video again, trying to spot a detail that didn't match. Something off in the posture. The shoulders. The shoes. I searched for any flaw that might break the illusion. But there wasn't one. It wasn't a mask. It wasn't a trick. It was me. Same hoodie I'd thrown on before bed. Same faded logo on the chest. Same birthmark barely visible beneath my jaw. He stood in the hallway for almost 10 seconds, unmoving. Then he slowly, deliberately, turned his head to the right. Toward the staircase. Upward. I live in a one-story house with a split-level loft bedroom. The stairs creak. The steps echo. But I hadn't heard a single sound. Still watching the footage, I reached for the nightstand drawer and pulled out the small flashlight I kept there. Not a weapon. Not even heavy. But it made me feel like I was doing something. I clicked it on and moved toward the bedroom door. Hand on the knob. I listened. Nothing. No footsteps. No breathing. Just the sound of my own pulse thudding in my ears. I unlocked the door slowly and opened it an inch. The upstairs hallway was dark. Still. Empty. I crept forward, one step at a time, checking every corner. The kitchen. Clear. The living room. Clear. I even opened the coat closet, just in case. Nothing. I walked back to the hallway, flashlight trembling slightly in my hand. Then my phone buzzed again. Another motion alert. I didn't check it right away. Because I was standing in the exact hallway where the last video had been recorded, and I hadn't seen anyone leave. That's when it hit me. The last footage never showed him moving away. It just ended. It was as if the camera didn't stop because he walked off. It stopped because there was nothing left to record. Or because he had gotten too close to the source. I took one step backward. Then another. And that's when I heard it. A single creak. Not on the stairs. From the ceiling. The attic. I turned off the flashlight. Because I realized something. If I could hear him, he could hear me too. There's a sound the ceiling makes when someone is walking across it, different from house settling, different from wind. It's a low, measured creak. A sound with weight. And I was hearing it directly above me. 3 steps. Then nothing. Then one more, slower. Closer. I stared up at the ceiling like it could somehow explain what was happening. The attic entrance was in the hallway, one of those pull-down ladders with a rope handle. It hadn't been opened in months. Maybe a year. I would have known. It sticks, and when it drops, it slams. But I hadn't heard it. I walked backward, back into my bedroom, and shut the door, this time locking it and dragging my dresser in front of it, heart racing. Then I checked the new motion alert on my phone. 3:13 a.m. Location, upstairs hallway camera. I hadn't remembered installing one in the hall, but then again, I'd bought a 3-pack months ago and only used 2. Maybe I had mounted the third and forgotten. The video loaded. It showed the attic entrance. Still sealed. For now. Then, the rope handle twitched. Once. Then again, this time tugged down slightly, as if someone was testing it from the other side. Then the feed cut out. Just blinked to black. No end timestamp. No corruption warning. Just, gone. I stared at my phone, waiting for another notification. Another sign. But nothing came. Until I heard the sound. Not from above this time. From behind the wall. A slow drag. Like fingertips across sheetrock. Sliding along the inside. Moving toward my door. I froze. My mind screamed at me to run, but my body wouldn't move. All I could think about was the footage. The porch. The hallway. The attic. Me. If this thing was inside, then where was the real me? Was I still the real me? I opened the phone camera and turned it to selfie mode, suddenly unsure if I'd see something off. Something that didn't quite match. My reflection stared back, pale, wide-eyed, breathing too fast. Still me. Still me. Still. 3 knocks. Not on the door. On the window behind me. I spun, phone in hand. And for a split second, I saw it. Me. Outside. Looking in. Except I wasn't smiling. I wasn't even blinking. I was just watching. Then he stepped out of frame. And the hallway doorknob began to turn. I pushed the dresser harder against the door as the doorknob twitched. It didn't turn smoothly, not like someone trying to sneak in. It jiggled in quick, sharp movements. Intentional. Like someone was testing it. Like he wanted me to know he was on the other side. And not in a rush. Just patient. The knocks didn't come this time. No banging. No threats. Just the sound of the handle clicking back and forth. Like he had time. I stepped away from the door, chest heaving. My back hit the far wall, my phone still gripped in my hand. I tapped open the Ring app again. No new notifications. I switched to live view on the hallway camera. It didn't load. Error, camera feed unavailable. I tried the front door camera. Same thing. Then I checked my phone's Wi-Fi. Connected. No internet. Of course. Of course it had cut out, right now. My fingers were shaking, but I opened the phone app and dialed 911. The call failed. I tried again. Nothing. Then, a buzzing vibration in my hand, an alert. But not a motion one. New device signed into your Ring account from a recognized location. My stomach turned. He had my login. Or, maybe I had given it to him. After all, if he was me. Then the app closed on its own. Not crashed, closed. I looked back at the door. The handle had stopped moving. Silence again. I waited, holding my breath. 1 minute. 2. 3. Then. A voice. Coming from just outside the door. Soft. Clear. My voice. You should have opened the door earlier. Every hair on my body stood up. It wasn't distorted. Wasn't robotic. It was my exact tone, same inflection, same rhythm. But I wasn't speaking. Then I heard movement again, not at the door. Above me. The attic. The rope ladder dropped without warning, crashing down into the hallway with a loud snap. I flinched hard, heart hammering in my throat. I knew what was coming next. I grabbed the flashlight, pointed it upward at the attic hatch, but the light flickered, then died. Dead batteries. No time. I yanked open the bottom drawer, found my old college baseball bat, and held it tight. It felt like paper in my hands. From the hallway, something climbed down. Slow. Measured. Not like someone escaping. Like someone settling in. A shadow passed under the doorframe. And then nothing. No knocks. No voice. No movement. Just a long pause. Then. Footsteps. Down the hall. Away from me. As if he had changed his mind. Or worse. As if he already got what he wanted. I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed with the bat in my lap until the sun began to bleed through the blinds. The house stayed quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, it feels like something is waiting for you to relax. At 6:12 a.m., the Wi-Fi came back. My phone buzzed. Not a call. Not a message. A Ring notification. Motion detected. Bedroom camera. My stomach dropped. I don't own a bedroom camera. I never installed one. Hands shaking, I tapped the alert. The video opened. And I saw myself. Standing at the foot of my bed. Perfectly still. Head tilted slightly to the side. Watching the place where I had been sitting only seconds earlier. The timestamp was live. That meant I wasn't in the frame. I was behind the camera. My reflection stared back from the dark screen of my phone, pale and hollow-eyed, and for the first time, I couldn't be completely sure which version of me had woken up this morning. A new alert popped up before I could breathe. Motion detected, front door. The camera loaded. It showed me again, this time leaving the house. Not sneaking. Not running. Just walking out calmly, pulling the door shut behind him and locking it. With my keys. My phone buzzed once more. Device disconnected. The screen went black. I stood there in my bedroom, bat in my hands, staring at the dark mirror of my phone. And the most terrifying thought I've ever had finally landed in my chest. What if I'm not the original anymore? What if I'm the copy that got left behind? By the time the police arrived, the house looked normal again. No broken doors. No forced entry. No attic ladder hanging down. No sign that anyone else had been inside at all. They walked room to room while I stood in the kitchen, wrapped in a blanket, trying to explain how my own face had knocked on my door while I was still in my bed. They checked my Ring account. There were no saved clips. No logs. No bedroom camera. No login from another device. Everything that terrified me had simply never happened. One of the officers asked if I'd been under a lot of stress lately. I nodded because it was easier than trying to explain how I'd watched myself walk out of my own house. They left after an hour. The house felt different after that. Not damaged, rearranged. Like a room after someone has moved furniture and then put it back almost, but not quite, in the right places. The couch was at the same angle, but not the angle I remembered. My keys were in the bowl, but facing the wrong direction. My shoes were lined up, but not in the order I always kept them. Small things. Wrong things. That night, I stood in the hallway staring at the attic hatch. It looked untouched. Clean. Sealed. But I didn't climb up. I didn't open it. I didn't want to prove anything that couldn't be undone. I went to bed early. Sometime after midnight, my phone buzzed. Not a Ring alert. A text. From my own number. You locked the door this time. Good. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. I never replied. Days passed. Then weeks. No more alerts. No more footsteps. No more footage. Life tried to slide back into place like nothing had ever broken. But sometimes, I wake up downstairs with no memory of walking there. Sometimes my phone battery is drained when I know it was full. Sometimes my front door is unlocked when I'm certain I locked it. And sometimes, when I catch my reflection in a dark window, I swear my reflection is looking at me just a second longer than it should. I used to think the question was, who was the person on my camera? Now I know the real question is much worse. Which version of me is still being recorded? Because somewhere, just out of sight, just between skipped seconds, my life is still moving. And I'm no longer completely sure. Which one of us is the one living it?